Hi, I'm Craig. That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad. Brad, Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve, which, it's the most exciting day of the year. It's
It
more
is, really.
exciting than Christmas, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the most exciting 24 hours is midday Christmas Eve on into Christmas morning and then Christmas afternoon. Like, that's the block.
I agree. I think if you were to rank the 24-hour windows in a given year, that is number one, which is 100%. Now, so the first question is, why are people watching us right now? But question number two, thank you very much for watching. It's more of a statement than a question.
Question number two.
But
seriously, why are you watching? No. Yeah, thanks for Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes, we did it.
Yeah,
episode 19.
Episode 19, we did it. We're here. You know what I love is that episode 20 will be our Christmas episode.
Be like a Christmas present almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a present for you and me and everybody watching.
If you watch the home tour, apparently you guys are really going to like episode 20 because it really gets into the home videos.
Yeah.
Baby.
One of my favorite things to do. It's like Clark Griswold stuck in the attic and he loads up all of his films and he's sitting there watching. Although I've never fallen through the attic while watching a video. So,
it's funny you mentioned Clark Griswold and Christmas Vacation because today I'll be debuting for the first time ever my top 5 Christmas movies.
Ooh, your top 5.
Yes, my personal top 5. This is something that I'm sure will just eviscerate people's opinion of me. People will hate me because of this. There'll be movies that are left off. People are like, well, what about this movie? What about this movie? And let me just tell you,
if you don't have the same top 5 as me, I will hate you.
Straight up. I understand that. But let me just tell you this right now. Die Hard's not on it. Not a Christmas movie. Elf, not on it.
Let's go. Oh, well, they wouldn't be on my top 5.
I don't. People like get off talking about how Elf's like one of the best Christmas movies ever. It's like, what? Like, it's okay. It's like, well, I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it in theater and was like,
Yeah, it's all right. It's funny. I was looking at a Christmas list today, and you know what I saw on there? A Christmas movie list. It was like the top. I don't know if it was BuzzFeed or something. It was like the top 50 Christmas movies. Way too many. I was scrolling through it. And Batman Returns was on there.
I saw that. What? Just because there's snow in a movie doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie.
Just because Christmas is in the movie at some point or it's around the holidays, it doesn't make it a Christmas movie. It's got to be like about Christmas. And Batman Returns is about destroying the Penguin and Catwoman. So I don't see the connection there, but I watched Batman Returns recently and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I know it's not very good, is it? I've never liked it. I've never liked Batman Returns. But okay, so we got that coming up in just a second. That's gonna take over pretty much the entire show. But we have 2 things to take care of first. And number 1 is the YouTube comment of the day. Graphic coming soon.
Here we go. Real Life Glitch Entertainment says, why does Brad look like a terrible deep fake of Craig? I don't think Craig actually has a brother. I think he records these conversations with himself and edits them together. That was my glitch of you.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for that Real Life Glitch Entertainment. You are the YouTube comment of the day. For that, you get 17 points deducted from your score. Sorry about that.
Because you're wrong. I'm a real person.
That's right.
And I'm offended.
Sorry about that. It's funny. Now I'm just going to call you Deepfake Craig from here on out.
Oh, man. No, that's what I'm going to add another name to my roster along with Unaware Steve and Deepfake Craig.
Deepfake Craig, yeah, that's right. That seems like such a great novelty name to throw on there. So, well, thank you for that. Yes, Brad is a real person.
I'm real.
At least as far as you know. Boy. As far as you know. Okay, and next we have we debuted a brand new game yesterday. It's called Draw the Movie, where I was given 5 seconds to draw a movie. A random movie that I was given a title of it, and I saw it, and I was like, "That's perfect. Let's draw that movie." Mm-hmm. This is what I drew yesterday, Brad. If you recall, it looked like this. Any last second guesses, Brad, before I unveil what this movie was?
Okay, so we got an arrow curved over what looks like a person crying. Am I right at all with that?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll let you be the judge because.
Can I give you a guess?
Oh yes, please.
Hold on. I'm gonna go with that very low budget indie movie, Girl with a Broken Arrow.
Ooh, man. You would be wrong because the answer is.
What is it?
After Porn Ends 2.
What? I was right on some level with the budget.
So this represents the after. This is a porn video. These are boobs.
Oh, it's not a girl crying.
No. I mean,
bigger boobs. Okay.
I mean, for all we know, that could be what happens after Porn Ends 2. So who knows? But congratulations.
Right.
Sorry.
Where did you find that?
I just searched random movie and that was the title. I didn't know After Porn End 1 was a thing. So hopefully they'll make it a trilogy.
The first one, you might be confused on the second one.
That's right.
Storyline.
I need to throw this away really quick because I don't want my daughters coming in.
What is this?
What's porn mean? All right. Speaking of quality movies and cinema, let's get into it. It's my top 5 Christmas movies ever. Brad, are you ready?
I hope After Porn Ends 2 is not on this list.
Now, what I believe there is snow in that movie, and it was right outside the top 5 according to BuzzFeed. So, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
All right. So once again, there are some movies that are not on this list, including Elf. Bad Santa is not on this list. I know a lot of people like Bad Santa as like, I feel like when you see these movies, they often break down to someone trying to be super snarky and smarter than their audience. Mm-hmm. This is strictly about me. Whenever I sit down and watch these movies, do I feel in the Christmas spirit? Do I enjoy the time that I'm given, the hour and a half to 2 hours that I have watching these movies? And everything about these movies is a big yes. 100%. And some of these movies are actually fairly new, at least new to me. Okay. So let's start with number 5 here, Brad. I'm excited to share with you number 5 on my list, The Santa Claus, starring Tim Allen.
Yeah.
This is obviously stars Tim Allen as Scott Calvin. Scott Calvin causes Santa to fall off the roof. He puts on the Santa outfit, and all of a sudden he becomes Santa. Has trouble bearing with it. Has a hard time dealing with it. Eventually embraces it so much so that you get 2 other movies after Santa Claus 1. But Santa Claus 1 is the real winner here because I love the scene where he is in the doctor's office and he's put on all his weight and he can't stop eating milk and cookies. And he goes, well, Scott, you put on a little weight. And he grabs his belly and he goes, does this look like a little weight to you? And I always love that scene.
Yeah, this movie, we for some reason, Dylan, my oldest, for those of you that don't know, Dylan asked for this movie this year. And I always buy one new movie every year to add to our Christmas movie collection. And so I was like, all right, but I didn't just add the Santa Claus. I added the entire trilogy. So we've watched the entire trilogy over the last 2 weeks or so a few times. As a matter of fact, prior to filming this episode, the Santa Claus, the original, was on our TV screen. So it's fresh on my mind. It's good to see it on this list. I would say that's a pretty good, overall good Christmas movie. I agree. In fact, I think all 3 of them are actually pretty fun. I don't feel like they're different from each other, but I don't feel like they like get worse as trilogies kind of sort of do sometimes.
Unlike other trilogies where oftentimes you think of like The Hangover, where it's like the same movie 3 times. Yeah. I do agree. I think Santa Claus is 3 separate stories. And Santa Claus 2 with his fake Santa Claus, like that's legitimately like scary. Like plastic Santa and then the fact that Martin Short is in the 3rd one is pretty interesting to say the least. So
but they're fun, and it's all Christmas.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the movies, It's all about Christmas and Santa Claus. So, and
the Claus with an E, which is hilarious.
Clever.
I also love in the Santa Claus 2, like there's all these little, like the Santa Claus 2, he has to get married, and it's on his card, but it's even smaller on the inside. You know how tiny the writing is and stuff. I always love that.
Anyways, what I love about the second one, I was just telling Kelly about this, is there's a scene where he goes to this boring office party with the girl as sort of like a date. She invites him along, and then it's like just dead and boring. So he gets up and he starts giving all the adults
that's right.
The Christmas gifts that they always wanted as a kid. So there's this like they all open them up and they get in touch with their inner kid, and then this party starts happening where it's all these old vintage board games and stuff. And I was like, that seems like a really fun party. Like put on some Christmas records and get out like all these, just have stations where everybody can just play these games. Like Rock'em Sock'em Robots and Mousetrap and all those oldies but goodies. So that kind of sparked my brain to think about a Christmas party for next year.
That would be fun. Yeah. All right, number 4 on my list is a new one. Actually, I don't know if you've seen this one, Brad. But this is new, starring Kurt Russell, the Santa Claus. Like what a great Santa! What an outstanding Santa he is. My God. Now, I haven't seen the second one yet, but I know the first one is great. Pretty much the first one is such a great story. The idea of, Santa Claus comes down, his sleigh gets wrecked, and he has a non-believer. And I think the theme you're going to find in all these, at least the first 2 movies is magic. Magic is like, there's something about the Christmas magic. And I'll tell you what, man, what an outstanding, like this is probably my favorite Santa. Probably Kurt Russell, probably my favorite Santa in history.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing about this movie that I did not like is how the elves look.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge elf guy. And I also didn't like the scene, the unnecessary jailhouse rock scene. I just felt like that was kind of thrown in. But outside of that, like everything about this movie, I really, really enjoy. I love it.
I'll say this on your comments. The problem with the elves specifically is probably that they're CGI. If they had made them puppets, like actual like Jim Henson puppets, it would have been incredibly cool. Yeah. And the jail scene, I was watching, what was on the other day? It might have been Santa Claus, but I was like, how come every Santa Claus based movie involves the police at some point? I think almost every Christmas movie, for that matter, involves the police getting involved at some point.
As I look at my list, yeah, pretty much.
What is going on there with Hollywood? They're like, look, we want to make money off of Christmas, but we also want to scare you a little bit with Christmas too. So I don't know what's going on, but it always fits into the script somehow. Even like, I think, I don't know if this is going to be on your list. Probably not, but Ernest Saves Christmas.
No, Ernest Saves Christmas is not on my list.
Okay. Well, it does involve the police.
All right. Well, I want to remind you guys, if you guys are popping in, I would love to hear your top 5 favorite Christmas movies in the comments below. Please, maybe you'll be the YouTube comment of the day. Who knows? If Ernest Saves Christmas is your number 1, who knows? What a weird world we live in. I'll tell you what. Are you ready for number 3 on my list?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I feel like this is kind of a cheat here because this movie encompasses 2 holidays. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, this one also has the police as he's trying to get shot down as he's trying to be Christmas. You remember? So, yes, I looked down. I was like, oh, geez. So, obviously, the classic story of Jack Skellington, who is burnt out with Halloween and wants something new. He's kind of going through a midlife crisis. He's the best there is, but he wants something different. So he finds the magical Christmas store and makes his way to Christmas Town and discovers that he wants to be what this Santa Claus guy is. So he takes over the holiday and tries to do it his way and discovers that there ain't nothing wrong with Halloween and being the person that you are and finds love along the way. Yeah. So,
and the incredible soundtrack. Yeah, I remember seeing this movie when it came out and leaving the parking lot and going to our car after the movie, and I was going, what's this? This going everywhere. And I was like all jacked up on like Nightmare Before Christmas music, specifically that song. That was like the best. And I had that soundtrack. I still have it actually. And, that's a movie that when I first saw it, I liked it. and I liked the music, but I didn't love it. But over time, it's grown on me more and more. And the more like we get away from like claymation movies, and I miss the physical, objects actually being in a movie and knowing the artistry behind it, like you really start to appreciate that stuff. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good pick.
But even this, when you look at this is just hand drawn. Like this doesn't have the same magic that the stop motion does, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no way.
But you know what one of my favorite songs is in this movie? Speaking of songs, it's Sally's song, where she's so sad. Do you know the song I'm talking about? Where Sally's singing about Jack? Right. It's you can just hear the hurt in her as she's singing it, and I think that's the thing about this movie in particular is it sounds so cliche, but to me there's so much heart when you watch this, and there's so much wonder when it comes to Christmas. Jack is experiencing this for the first time. He doesn't even know what the snow is, and oh my gosh, what is this? And that song, it's such a perfect encapsulation of what a child, how they look at Christmas, and it's wonderful. So that movie is number 3 on my list. I love it.
It's funny, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the title, I didn't ever even put it together for years. I took the title as it was, A Nightmare Before Christmas, and I never even put it together that it was a play on words of The Night Before Christmas. I never even thought about it. And I was like, duh. What?
I was over here looking at it. I was like, what is it? And I was like, oh yeah, of course.
The Night Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I love movies like this also because sometimes if you look close enough, you can see fingerprints of the people that sculpted these things.
Oh, yeah?
Just sort of, you'll see a faint little fingerprint here and there.
Have you seen... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I like imperfections in movies. That's one thing that's missing from, I think, the digital age, is that you can tidy it up and make it as big and gigantic as you want, and it's this whole world, but like you don't get any feeling of somebody made it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Have you watched the show on Disney Plus, Prop History or Prop Culture? I think it is. Have you heard about that show?
I think I saw that episode. Yeah,
the one where they have the thing on this title card of they have this thing.
Yeah.
It looks all gross on the backside, and it's like they only shot it from this side, so it looks pretty. But all right, number 3. Once again, recap: 5, 4, 3, and now 2. I can feel the eye rolls coming from the haters.
Oh, I thought that was going to be your number 1.
A Christmas Story. Now this, yes, it runs for 24 hours on TNT every Christmas Eve, which I look forward to having on this year. But the story of Ralphie, the Red Ryder BB gun, and just a Christmas story, so quotable, so wonderful. 1980, early 80s. The way it's shot, it's such a fun. There's so many wonderful lines, and I know they're part of pop culture. And it's sold out, and blah blah blah. You'll shoot your eye out. And red. You know what I was actually going to get you this year, Brad?
What's that?
A Red Ryder BB gun. I'm not kidding.
Were you really? I
was really going to get you a Red Ryder BB gun. I saw it at Walmart. They had them up there, Red Ryder BB guns, and I was like, okay. I put a little mental note, and I went back a week later, and they weren't anywhere. So I'm sorry.
That's all I wanted. I wanted a Red Ryder BB gun with a triple action.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. But
actually, I just want a Nerf gun.
Oh well, just something to shoot. I'm a boy. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't like A Christmas Story just because it's almost overplayed now around Christmas time, and I think that's a product that's thinking probably in the last 5-6 years. But
yeah, it's been merchandised quite a bit. At this point in time. You know who doesn't like A Christmas Story?
Who's that?
Dad.
What?
Dad doesn't like Christmas Story.
Why doesn't he like it?
It's our sister's favorite movie.
Yeah.
Of all time. But I remember Dad being like, I don't like that movie. And I was like, what? Who doesn't? What? I never even knew you didn't like movies.
There's so many things in the movie, though, that are funny that, like, it takes place in this 50s Midwestern town or whatever. And there are things in that movie that are just seen as racially insensitive now. I think of like one of the best scenes in the movie is at the very end where the turkey has been eaten by the dogs, and they end up going to the Chinese food restaurant, and they're over there trying to sing "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly."
Yeah.
Rah, 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 rah. It's so funny.
Yeah. It is funny.
I just feel like people would have a hard time with that today,
Oh yeah. It wouldn't have made the cut today. The thing I like about this movie too is it came out in I think I want to say 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And so in what year does the movie take place?
Oh, I don't know.
Like
I would say 50s,
late 40s. I want to say maybe the 40s sometime. But what I like about it is that it really, I feel like it does capture that time period.
Oh yeah.
And if you made it today with these HD cameras and stuff, I feel like it would pull away from it. Like I feel like the film quality of the movie adds and enhances the entire absorption of the story and the feeling and everything. It feels like a colorized real life version of stepping back in time.
Look at this. I just found this. There's a Christmas Story house and museum, which I think is the house that they took place in. It says it's supposed to be in Indiana in the late 30s and early 40s. Right here.
Okay.
So recollections of growing up in Indiana in the 30s and 40s. So that makes a lot of sense. But how fun. I love everything about it. And I really love that time period as well. The 30s and 40s. I know that if I lived in it, I would have hated it. But it's fun to look at how we've changed and evolved and stuff.
I think the thing that sticks out the most when I think about our grandparents' generation is I think about how much of a slob everybody is these days compared to people back then. You got dressed up to go out. You looked your best, even if you didn't have a nice suit, you wore your suit.
I know.
You know what I mean? And look, here I am sitting in a Rocky t-shirt, and you got your Street Fighter shirt on, and we're just slobs.
You know who the best dressed person I've ever met is?
I don't know.
John Francis McCullough.
Oh,
do you know John? John from Screw Attack?
Oh yeah.
He always had a suit on every day, and it was one of those things where you're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's majestic.
Yeah.
God, it looks great.
If that came back, I mean, as an expectation of going out,
never.
That'd be a good thing for everybody.
Yes, nothing would be wrong with that. Oh my God. All right. Here we go. My final list, final number one here. Recap 5, 4, 3, 2.
Can I guess?
Yes, by all means.
Christmas Vacation.
Ooh, not on the list. Not on the list. I thought about it. Cousin Eddie, was funny and all, but I Christmas Story. Christmas Vacation. It's okay. It's not as good as the original Vacation, but it's good.
Okay.
Number one on my list. I can feel I can feel the eye rolls now. It's so stereotypical, but man, do I love it. Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Man, absolutely. For me, having watched this recently, I always loved the movie, but having watched it now with my girls, they're experiencing Home Alone for the first time. As a matter of fact, tonight we were watching Home Alone 3, which I've never seen Home Alone. Have you seen Home Alone 3 before?
I think you're the only one.
Okay. I've always heard this movie is horrible, but did you know that it was produced and written by John Hughes, the writer and producer of the first two movies, right? And it's actually very different than the first two movies. It's not the same idea, and it doesn't try to be Kevin McAllister. It's a different kid, and it's set up differently and stuff.
Yeah.
No, we haven't got to the insanity. We stopped it right before all the chaos happens, right?
Oh, okay.
But so far, about 2/3 of the way through the movie, pretty okay. It's not Home Alone 1, but now I will say this: I think Home Alone 2 is a trash bag. I do not like Home Alone 2 at all.
It's the exact same movie, but it's in New York.
But the thing about Home Alone 1 is the orchestrated soundtrack of it is so wonderful. John Williams did such a great job. And there's so many songs in that movie that we hear every Christmas that we take for granted that are now Christmas classics. That either they just put you in that frame of mind. And this is a weird thing when it comes to me watching movies, but I like movies better when they take place in the daytime, right? Well lit. And I felt like Home Alone 2, a lot of it took place in the dark, right? And while the kidnappers come in a lot in the dark in Home Alone 1 or the Wet Bandits, most of it takes place in the house, a well-lit house, as opposed to outside. Now, obviously, there's the escape scene where he takes the bungee, he goes down the zip line and stuff, and it's clearly like a 35-year-old man. But it's such a fun fun movie, and in my mind, it's just it's the classic of classics.
As I'm thinking about it, I've got a bone to pick with us about something that we said earlier.
Please. About
what constitutes a Christmas movie. And as much as I love Home Alone, because I'm right there with you, I grew up with it. It takes place at Christmas time, but it's not really about Christmas. It's about a boy home alone who's got to grow up real fast and defend himself from burglars.
Well, that is true. I will say that Christmas is intertwined throughout the entire movie. The entire everything from the Christmas lights turning on, from the Wet Bandits observing the timers on the Christmas lights to him making peace with the guy next door at the church for the Christmas service.
The season is wrapped around. And I guess to their credit, the Wet Bandits wouldn't be making such a monstrous, diabolical plan had they not even, the whole thing is revolved around everybody leaving for Christmas vacation.
Right.
So,
right. Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll tell you what. Next year, we'll need to sit down and I want to hear your top 5 Christmas movies. Mine may change, by the way. I may see Christmas Chronicles 2 and may think it's better than Christmas Chronicles 1. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to work on that over the next 365 days.
Please do.
And I'm going to really think hard about it.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
A 3-hour special for 5 movies.
I love that. Love everything about that. Man, hopefully we'll be doing this full time by then. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
well, let's tell them to like and subscribe and hit that, smash that like button.
Okay, sounds good. And if you want to watch more, please go and watch it. There's a playlist right there waiting for you. So go do that. And don't forget, tomorrow we're back once again with episode 20. It's a Christmas extravaganza. I can't wait to show you this. It's our home videos from Christmas when we were kids. What video games did I get? I can't wait to share with you guys. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas, and thank you guys very much for spreading the word and letting people know. That'll be the best gift you can give to us. Tell somebody about the show. Appreciate that, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 20. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.